Good morning, everyone. It's 11:05 Pacific Standard Time, and it's been a while since I've been doing this broadcast podcast. But I only focus on content, so the content is very important at this point, and people need to understand that when you're doing a podcast or broadcast, a lot of people need to understand what they're looking at. So today, I'm going to more or less talk about Major James Capers. And I'm going to talk about it in a way where it's very profound. Yesterday, you noticed I posted a picture of Major James Capers yesterday. And we finally met in Los Angeles County in the city of San Pedro, who was more or less a guest of honor at the USS Iowa. So for a lot of people don't understand, Major James Capers is a two-time recommended Congressional Medal of Honor, recommended for 2 Medal of Honors during the time of the Vietnam era. So I come to find out that this past year, as I've gotten to know Major James Capers, that there's a lot of stories. And if you haven't seen, and I think I have his book, and more or less, and this is the book right here, The Faith Through the Storm. I recommend it. It's pretty profound. And The Faith of the Storm tells you the memoirs of Major James Capers, who was born a sheriff in the South, in a sharecropper family, and was able to deal with racism and all this stuff, and was able to join the Marine Corps, and was commissioned in the battlefield from staff sergeant to second lieutenant. So I've learned that the story about Major James Capers was pretty much in detail. This is a man that stands by his principles. This is a man that stands by a lot of things. And I just want to be able to share this with you for a number of reasons. But first off, if you like this segment of LinkedIn Perspective, please subscribe. I have it on a YouTube channel, LinkedIn Perspective. So if you like this content, share it, like it, tag it. And then if you like anything from this, make the comments known. I know it's a Sunday, so it's pretty much, but as I stated, I just wanted to be able to reach out to everyone and bring some light to it. It was an honor to meet the Major yesterday. We had a lot of fun. There was a lot of people that more or less were in awe, because this is a man who's 85 years old. He has multiple injuries. He can't stand, but he can walk. He walks with a cane. I'm not going to discuss all the injuries, but, we have to look at someone from that era, from the Vietnam era, that has been able to do things that a lot of people don't understand. And the biggest thing that I don't get is that, with all due respect to the Medal of Honors from Iraq and Afghanistan, this is a story that you need to really search out and find out, because they've earned the Medal of Honor, right? I get it. I'm not one to say anything, but when you talk about Major James Capers and what he's done behind the scenes, and what he shared with me in the last broadcast podcast about finding the enemy and seeking the enemy, because he wouldn't leave his men. And he defined a direct order from a colonel or a captain at that time, to a direct order, disobeying a direct order from a captain who passed away, to save the rest of his men back, in that combat field in the jungles of Vietnam. And here's the thing that I learned, that if it wasn't for the Major to save those men, that captain who passed away, who was a colonel, was going to generally court-martial the Major. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I do my best not to talk. But understand this. How is it that 50 years later, they're recommending not for one, but for 2 Congressional Medal of Honors, and it's taking forever to get that done. And then other individuals have been able to be recommended for the Medal of Honor, which is, Fallujah, Mosul, Charit, Afghanistan, the provinces. I get that. I mean, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of military people that deserve it. My biggest thing is that they were recommended, and it didn't take that long. But here you have Major James Capers, who is a survivor from the Vietnam era, 50 years later, and the 2-time recommendation of Congressional Medal of Honor was downplayed to a Silver Star. So we know that's politics. We know there's a lot of things that are going on. But the biggest thing that I want to be able to share with you is that I respect the man, because the man has opened his heart and has opened his life to me to be able to develop a relationship. And I've learned a lot of things from him as well. So the best thing I can honestly do at this point is to bring an awareness for everybody that can honestly think about what I'm talking about. And what's happening, brother? How you doing? And feel that, if you're reading the narrative that I put out there, is that how is it that a major who has Purple Heart, Bronze Stars, I think multiple Bronze Stars, and then got a Silver Star, but it was recommended two times for the Congressional Medal of Honor, and was just recently disapproved. I found out this past week. So Major James Capers was invited to Los Angeles, the city of San Pedro, and he was a guest of honor for the USS Iowa. So I got to meet him and his staff, and we had a good time. And the biggest thing that I could tell you is the man is very stoic. The man, you can tell that he's been through a lot, but the man is pretty much has self-preservation and pride to be able to talk about things that are inconclusive. What I mean is that he knows where he's heading. This is a man that, his wife passed away. His son passed away in his arms. We have other people that are constantly supporting him. But here's the thing. The biggest thing I can honestly tell you, we have support over there in the East Coast in North Carolina, and we have people here. So it's important for me to be able to put this narrative out here, to be able to explain to people how important it is for somebody like Major James Capers to be able to, if you read the narrative I put out there, I think that no one should be, denied the recommendation of the Medal of Honor, especially when they've been in combat, especially after 50 years. 50 plus years, and he's still alive. He's 85 years old. So it's the principle behind it, right? You notice what's going on in Russia and Ukraine. And Ukraine has been kicking somebody's butt. But the biggest thing I could tell you is that look what's happening here, right? The last of the Mohicans is the Vietnam veterans. And I can honestly tell you, the man's not very savvy in social media, but, I'm going to be a public servant to be able to put that out there, to be able to do that, because I believe that it's the right thing to do, especially when people are not looking at it. And then the good thing is that people can see it over and over again. And if you really care about what's going on, I'd recommend that you reach out to your local congressman or senator or write to the White House and petition that Major James Capers should be recommended for the Medal of Honors. 2 Medal of Honors, not 1, but 2. So the only one that I've remembered that I can recall that, just happened 15 years ago was Rex Chapman, who was a Air Force combat controller that received 2 Medal of Honors, and he was killed in action. And that man right there did some things that are outstanding. And the biggest thing that people don't understand, that it was recorded by the special operations community to see what he was doing. So can you imagine 50 years later, 50 years ago, if we had the same opportunity to actually, to record what Major James Caper was able to do and put it out there today, you guys would be lost for words and dumbfounded. My biggest concern is this, is that it's a lack of awareness, is politics, and, it's a good old boy club. Let me read this. I am ready to get out a lot out for what I'm doing, everything else. I'm looking for valuable information. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but look up podcast. You can look at it, Jana. You can look it up. It's on there. It's on LinkedIn Perspective on YouTube. Okay, and you can look at some of my stuff. So therefore, I don't want to waste too much time on it. But getting back to it, we spent about 2 hours yesterday, and we were able to joke around and laugh. And I warned him to don't eat the hot dogs, but he was laughing. But he has a lot of support. So my thing is that he's old enough to be my dad, but the man's been around for quite some time. So what is your perspective on what I just shared with you today about a special operations, force recon, and he was honorary to be a Raider as well. You see the pictures yesterday, and the man is, doesn't speak that much, but when he does, everybody listens. I mean, it was like being around the Pope yesterday. But how would you feel if you knew somebody that survived 50 years later, where a lot of people didn't come back, Vietnam, and in that era they were spit upon, they were called baby killers, they were just looked down upon, and as you know, racism, it was very profound back in the day. So one thing the Major shared with me that he was, I can share this because it was in the podcast last time, was that, he was sleeping on the flight deck and, somebody pissed on him, urinated on him because they had so much hate towards him. So the biggest thing I can honestly tell you is this. This is a man who grew up in the South. This is a man who was the son of a sharecropper who worked in the fields. This is a man that educated himself. This is a man that joined the Marine Corps, became, went to Vietnam, one of the few African-American commissioned officers back in the day. He, 50 years later, and the biggest thing I can honestly tell you, he's still alive. But what gets me is how the Marine Corps is changing their perspective on everything else. And it's like, I posted something yesterday where it shares that this coming fall, they're going to change the billet from drill instructor to drill sergeant. Get real with that. I earned that title of the drill instructor. Nobody's going to call me a drill sergeant. And understand that they were trying to change the narrative as well as, hey, if you have a bachelor's degree, you're equivalent to a gunny at E7, you can join the Marine Corps, not go to boot camp, and we can put you in there in the Marine Corps without even doing that. So a lot of things are changing, and the biggest thing that I can honestly tell you why I'm on here today is to explain the importance of recognizing that we have an African-American commissioned officer. Battle commission officer. He was a staff sergeant in the Vietnam era. He was commissioned on the battlefield to lieutenant, and he was able to be a major and retire. One of the last of the legends that is highly respected, that is high in demands. Everybody's doing a lot of stuff, but here's my biggest thing, ladies and gentlemen, is that he was denied the recommendation of 2 Medal of Honors. So my biggest thing is that how are we going to be able to support that and right a wrong that has been totally taken away from the major after 50 years? Now, granted, it's the principle behind it, because we have quite a few Medal of Honor winners. There was Sergeant Major back in the day. He waited about the same period of time and he was awarded the Medal of Honor. But my thing is that how is it the Headquarters Marine Corps and the 2nd Marine Division, especially Headquarters Marine Corps, with the commandant who came up with Major James Capers, right, was recommended, and then it was turned down. You know, I don't understand that for the life of me. I read the narrative, the letter. There's quite a few people from the special operations community that are really disgusted with it. And to say the least, Major James Capers was pretty much disappointed, but the man took it in stride. So my obligation as a public servant is to be able to bring in an awareness at today, especially today on a Sunday. Normally I do it during the week, but I think that it's fresh because I talk about content, and it's important that when people look at the content, they understand how important it is, because we know what we're talking about. So if you have any questions, feel free to call at 562-286-3111. I'll be able to put you on the mic, open mic. This is a virtual town hall. This segment of LinkedIn Perspective is brought to you by LinkedIn and Facebook and link and YouTube Live as well. If you like this content, share it, like it, tag it, as well as you can subscribe to LinkedIn Perspective. This segment will be pre-recorded, and you can share it as well. For the people in the special operations community, you know, who I've supported for a number of years, decades, I think it's very important that you understand that if you respect a legend like this, I think it's important to voice your opinion and put your voice, put it on paper. If it ain't on paper, it's not real. So I think that the power of the pen is the most important thing to be able to explain and demonstrate your loyalty and your patriotism to someone like Major James Capers. I believe that at this point, you need to understand that that the man deserves what he's earned. He saved quite a few lives, and I'm sure that he's very humble. He doesn't talk about it, but we've been able to, in his nonprofit organization, if you look it up at Major James Capers nonprofit organization, there's quite a few people that are constantly supporting the major. And excuse me, because I have an itchy nose. But when I say this, is that we need to be able to take a call of action and reach out to the congressman and to supporters, to be able to reach out to everyone, to put it in notice that Major James Capers should be recommended for not one, but 2 Medal of Honors that was recommended for him, and it was downplayed to a Silver Star. That's ridiculous. How do you play that? You know, it's the principle of it. You can't put a price on lives. You can't put a price on the number of lives you've saved. And the thing about it is that the man has earned the title of being in Force Recon, and he was an honorary Raider as well. So he's been highly respected and viewed as a legend through the special operations community, and has been truly supported. He's constantly going on visits. We're going to be, I'll probably be able to do a segment in 3 weeks we call the Recon Challenge in Camp Pendleton. He's going to be there as well. I'm going to see what I can do, but I'll take some pictures if I can't do it live. But, you know, the Recon Challenge is more or less like a marathon. It's like a triathlon, and it's to honor those who have fallen. We also have a location called First Sergeant's Hill for the memory of the Raiders and people, everyone else that's up there in the location, which is called Sacred Ground. So a lot of people are saying, thank you for your service. I don't want to, you know, here's what I think. This is my opinion. If you look at Major James Capers, don't say thank you for your service. Put it on paper and say, not only thank you for your service, but I totally support, and I want to make it a point to more or less support you to get the recommendation of the Congressional Medal of Honors, not 1, but 2. And I believe that that's the right thing to do, because That's why I'm on it today, to be able to express the concerns and the disservice that the U.S. government and the Marine Corps and 2nd Marine Division has displayed. You know, they can love him and like him, but they won't give him what he earns. So I think it's very hypocritical on that. And because the other factor is that the Major has been supporting the Mossack 3 for quite some time. And that's another talk show in itself that we're going to be able to discuss about 3 special operators within the Mossack community that were, after 3 years, over 3 years, that were treated in unjust and pretty much run up the flagpole. But, with faith in God, we've been able to support and find another way to battle this out. So what's my point? There's a lot of injustice back in the military. When you see the picture of the Major, who has all these accolades, who's earned, the right to wear the symbols of Recon and the Raiders, and he's been able to be here and be able to represent the community in a positive way, and the Vietnam veterans as well. I think that you as the general public should be able to return the favor and take a call of action. If people are supporting, which is right, for Ukraine and everything else, I believe that's right. But let's take care of the home front. Let's take care of our own. How do we do that? You take a call of action. You reach out to your congressman, your senator, your governor, and put it to paper and say, Major James Capers, I found out, was downgraded from 2 recommendations of the Congressional Medal of Honor down to a Silver Star. So I don't know. But at the most part, I believe that at this point of our lives, we should be able to take the opportunity to right a wrong, as I'm doing right now, and to profess it to a point that people need to see that. And, when this is finished and it's already recorded, you can play it again and listen to it intently, and then read the narrative that I have here on LinkedIn and on Facebook as well, and on YouTube, to understand the importance of why someone should deserve the Congressional Medal of Honor. This is a man, again, I have to reiterate, lost his wife to cancer, lost his son, who died in his arms. He has multiple, combat wounds, and the man's still alive. And he's proud to be a Marine. I'm proud to be able to meet him, to have some FaceTime, to actually get to know the man, where people pay a lot of money to travel for him to travel. We spend not 1, but 2 hours joking around, just having a great time. So for him to be able to accept me and give me the opportunity of FaceTime, I believe that it's important to put it out there and say that, what can I do to make a difference? Make a situation awareness. There's an injustice. The Marine Corps and the 2nd Marine Corps Division has denied the Major the recommendation of getting 2 Congressional Medal of Honors while the man's still alive. I think they're waiting for him to pass, to offset it. And again, it doesn't take the fact away of other people that have been recommended for the Medal of Honor, especially the guys, in Afghanistan, in Iraq. But understand this. My point is this. The era of 20 years ago, from 9/11, from Iraq and Afghanistan, we've had multiple Medal of Honors that were recommended and highly deserved. Why is it taking over 50 years to give somebody that has done more than what was told to be recommended for 2 Medal of Honors and was denied and placed down to a Silver Star? So for me, I just want to be able to explain that to you and share that with you, because I think it's politics. You know, I don't want to go there with the race card, but you know, back in Vietnam, back in the 60s, we all know how it was. If we were growing up there, a lot of people know how it was. Racism was very profound. And again, I need to reiterate that the major, had he not saved these individuals, that's more than one, the commanding officer at that time was going to put him up and run him up the flagpole for a general court-martial. So I don't want to be long-winded at this point. You know, I'll probably give it another 5 minutes, but I just want to be able to share that with you. I mean, I respect the man, you know, and at the same time, you know, he says I claims me as one of his sons. So for somebody of that level, coming from that era, that's saying that, you know, I'll treat you like one of my sons, to me, that's important. So as him being an adoptive father figure that I haven't had for quite some time, I'm obligated to do this because I care and it's the right thing to do. So if you like this content, share it, like it, tag it. This segment of LinkedIn Perspective has been brought to you by LinkedIn, has given me the opportunity to bring this broadcast live as far as Facebook as well, and on YouTube. Subscribe to YouTube on LinkedIn Perspective, and you know, make your comments known. And everybody should understand that, you know, being a hero is not a basketball star, a football star, a Hollywood star, a rock star. A hero is somebody that wears dog tags. A hero is a man that's put his life on the line to save others because he cares and he's willing to die for it. So this man is all about principle and is willing to die for his principle, to keep his principles because he can't be bought. So a man of a, you know, son of a sharecropper who grew up in the, you know, 40s, in the 50s, and everything else, where slavery was, you know, discrimination was pretty profound, who's here today. Reach out and make it happen. You know, reach out to your congressman, your senator, somebody that cares. Reach out to the Marine Corps. Get his book one more time, and I'll do it right here. If you don't know who I'm talking about, this is his book, Faith Through the Storms, Memoirs of Major James Capers, retired. This is the man that I really admire. And if you want this book, you know, get it. The man has been able to sign it. And there you go. You know? And I believe this is priceless, is the principle of it. So I recommend you get this book and get it to a point where you can read it and read what's behind the story of Major James Capers. You know, read what's behind it. And if you really care to make a difference, reach out to your congressman, reach out to, you know, get a petition going. You know, get a petition going. People get petitions for less than this. This man was recommended for 2 Medal of Honors. 2, not 1, but 2. The only one that's been able to get a 2 Medal of Honors was a combat controller, Rex Chapman, who died on the Hill in Afghanistan, saving quite a few special operators, SEALs, and everything else. And the helicopter was shot down, and the man kicked ass. You know? But the man's not here. So we have one that's left, which is the major. One more time, get his book, Faith Through the Storms, Major James Capers. It's not about me, it's about him. Understand this right here. Get his book, written his memoirs. It tells you everything else. And at the back, tells you everything of what it is, of his bio. And the man's been with 3rd Force Recon Battalion and everybody else, and people don't really understand the significance of it. So with that being said, you know, I want you guys to enjoy your Sunday. I just want to be able to put it out there. So share this content, share it, like it, tag it. I just want to be able to put that out there. Where can you get the book? Get it in Amazon, Adam. It's on Amazon. So if you want to get the book again, let me show it right here. If you want to get this book, Faith Through the Storms, or you can go to the Major James Capers nonprofit foundation, right? And ask for the book. There's plenty of books right there. You know, this is priceless, as you say. This man, we talked about it. Get it right here. It was signed. I think that is important for everybody to reach out and get that book. But the biggest thing is freaking sign a petition to get the major his due, his Congressional Medal of Honor. So thank you very much. I'll do another segment of LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. But it's important. Okay? Semper Fi, always beside you. Be easy like Sunday morning. Peace out.